Welcome to the third episode of Price Action Sundays. Thank you for joining again on this Price Action Sunday episode. If you've watched the previous two episodes, you'll know that I started this series to basically just help traders out there that's also trading, just to, have someone to resonate with, and also just to share a bit of my knowledge when I look at the charts and also the emotions I went through throughout the week. It's also a way of me documenting as I get better throughout my journey, because even though you can be a funded trader or a profitable trader, I think in a year or two from now, if I look back, I'll just have some, proof from where I came from, just to help other traders out there and people aspiring to trade, just to see that anybody can really achieve success in this industry if you just put your mind to it. And it's like anything in life, in the beginning it's a bit difficult when you start your trading journey, but later on it's like my mentor always says, or like Joshua Bunker always says, it's like driving a car. The first time you drive a car, you're not confident, and you struggle with some controls and you're nervous and all that kinds of stuff. But the more you do it later on, how many times have you driven home, let's say from work or from the shop or whatever, you can't even remember, how you drove home. You're not even paying attention to everything that's happening because it's such a second nature and it's like built into you. And, that's basically what I want to just say. That's how trading is. And, the more time and effort and back testing and all that kinds of stuff, the more effort you put in, the more results you're going to get. And that's the thing. That's also another reason why I started this channel. Most people out there, they trying to give you microwave results, or they want you to think it's like just putting something in the microwave and 30 seconds later your food is ready, for example. And that's not how it works. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes commitment, And like me, who's been doing this for so many years, it's only the past year or year and a half that I've really seen results. And it's all thanks to Guerrilla Trading since I've joined them. So I'm just super grateful for that. But anyway, guys, let's just jump onto the charts. And I also just realized I just want to explain a bit more when I talk about ascending price action and descending price action, because a lot of times I just say ascending and descending and all this kinds of stuff on the chart, and maybe some of you don't know what I'm talking about. But I'll just go a bit more in depth about that on what I mean when I see certain price forms. So guys, let's jump onto the charts. And I just want to say, if you haven't clicked like or subscribe, please click the like and subscribe button. It really helps me. I see I also hit 200 subscribers recently, so I'm super grateful for that. Within the first, I've had my YouTube channel now for about 5 or 6 weeks. So I really appreciate the support, and I just really appreciate all of you. And I just hope that, what I'm sharing is helping somebody out there, that started like I started trading these markets. So let's get right onto the charts. Okay, so as you can see on my screen, I'm going to get started with AUDUSD, Australian dollar, US dollar. So as you can see quickly, this was the start of the week. So this was Monday, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. So you'll see last week we ended with this ascending channel. So what I mean when I talk about an ascending, so let me go a bit more in depth. So an ascending is basically when price pushes up and then pushes down again. And then it breaks that high. As soon as it breaks it, it retraces again. And then we have another push, breaks that high. As soon as it breaks that high, the next candle or the next two candles retrace immediately. So it's exactly what I see even with a descending. So basically, let's say price, let me remove that quickly. So let's say price pushes down, retraces, and immediately when it breaks that low, it just retraces again. And then it pushes down, breaks that low, and then it retraces again. So then it starts forming a descending channel, or when I just talk about it quickly, I mean a descending. And that's exactly what I mean when I say we're going up, when I say ascending. So that's what I mean by ascending and descending, so that you guys can just get a better idea of that. So that's exactly what happened here. So if you look here, we broke that high, immediately we retraced. That high, immediately retraced. that high we broke and immediately retraced. So that is sort of an ascending channel. So these, as you can see, with this ascending nature that took place on the beginning of the week. Remember last week was non-farm payroll. So I was a bit hesitant to just take random or any trades. So you'll see as soon as we broke the low there again, we also retraced. So we broke that low a little bit further till that area and then we retraced. So usually when that happens, we ought to see a range, you know, or we see a reversal. So that's the thing, when the high gets broken and the low gets broken, then I'm a bit uncertain. And the thing is with NFP, you first want to see how price, you know, reacts the next week. And I'd only start looking for trades, let's say after the London session or New York session, or let's say the open of New York, which just makes it a bit more safer. Because you'll see here we had this nice descending. This was the Monday evening. We had this descending, broke the lows, retraced. Then we had this large wick at the top, and then we showed some momentum to the downside. So that gave me some hope, because you know I'm a price action trader. So I wait for momentum in the markets before I make any decisions on what trades to take and not to take. So as you see, after that large impulse, this was the low. We broke the low, immediately made a wick. So that just basically just confirmed to me that the trade doesn't want to go down any further. And that wick formed, we broke that wick, and another wick formed, and then we started this ascending channel. And from the ascending, we just went into another descending. Because I thought maybe after this descending to an ascending, if we had a bit more of an impulse, just to repeat that leg, you know, just show some form of commitment. I would probably look for a continuation setup if that happened, but it didn't happen. So we just formed another descending, and then we just started ascending again. And if you look at the bigger picture, we're just in this larger channel in this area. Then price gave us a bit of a commitment. You know, it broke that high. That's not the commitment I'm talking about, but it broke that high. And then immediately as we broke it, we had a retrace candle. Oh, sorry, that was the high. But as soon as we broke it, we had a retrace candle. And then we pushed down. And as soon as we broke with this nice large red candle, which also gave me some hope that momentum wants to start pushing down. But then you can see we got that retrace candle. And this is actually a very high probability setup for me. If an impulse takes place like that, and there's a sort of descending nature that forms here, I'll always look for the push to the upside. Sorry for my drawing. But basically, then what started happening is we had these wicks, which gave me more confidence. So I'm expecting for AUDUSD for hopefully a push to the upside, to maybe see some momentum there. And then we can start looking for some continuation setups, or like that flag setup. I always talk about that. I learned in guerrilla trading. So anyway, this is what I'm seeing in AUDUSD. Nothing much happened. You know, there was a few times when I thought something would happen, as I said, but unfortunately nothing happened, and there was no setups for me on this pair. So let's go to the next one, Euro Japanese yen. So you'll see I just drew a few lines before the video just to give you guys a better indication, because my drawing is terrible. For me, it looks good, but you know, for other people, probably not. So anyway, here's the start of the week on EJ. You'll see in the beginning of the week, we had this ascending at the end of the previous week, with NFP and all that kinds of stuff. So I spoke about that until last week, Friday, on my Price Action Sundays episode 2 video. But anyway, as soon as we opened in the market, we just had this large ascending nature, and then we just started ranging. So you'll see those two lines I drew there. Then we just started ranging. You know, we broke out of the high, immediately retraced, broke out of the low, immediately retraced, and it was just range bound price action. And that took place until about Wednesday afternoon, let's say about New York session around there. Then we had this very nice impulse to the upside. So this was actually a trade I was going to take, or my order was on for the setup, because we had this nice impulse to the upside. We had commitment that it wants to go up. So you'll see where that white line is. That's where actually I placed my order. I placed it about 2 pips above this inside bar, and you know, price never tagged me in. So I placed it about, let's say, high 1993. So that was, just quickly get that. So that would be 13 for me, 2 pips above that. Anyway, so let me just quickly show you this. So I placed my order there, and you'll see I never got tagged in. And another thing that I also want to mention is I do not trade in spread hours. So when they spread hours, I do not, let's say the 2 hours of spread hours in the evenings, I just do not take any trades. So my order was on, it didn't tag me in. On TradingView it shows that it would have tagged me in, but on my MetaTrader it never tagged me in. So immediately when it didn't tag me in, the candle closed like that, you'll see 10 o'clock is when spread hour starts. So then I basically, in South Africa, so then I cancelled my order, and then directly after spread hours it was this candle. So then I just saw no commitment, it started just forming an ascending nature here. So that just gave me less confidence to take the trade. So I then stayed out of the market, but I was 100% willing to take this trade. It just didn't tag me in. If it tagged me in, I would probably take a 1% loss, and I'd be happy with that because it fit my plan 100%, because we had the commitment, broke that high with commitment with that green candle, placed my order, and it just didn't tag me in. After that, we had this descending price action over here. You'll see there by my white line. And then after that, we just broke the low and retraced, and then we just started breaking this high. Looked like a bit of an impulse to the upside, but no real commitment, because if I wanted to see momentum in the market, it would have to take out these areas of liquidity, above this high, and it just didn't. Immediately when it broke into that liquidity area, it retraced. This is also another setup that formed, but this is not something that I would take because it was just a little bit deep for me on EJ. I would have been running in profit, but it just didn't fit my plan. So that's on EJ what I'm seeing. So if I look at price action, with EJ, this pair can literally impulse in any direction because it's busy ascending and it looks like it's struggling to break to the upside. But with this pair, usually, it can be struggling to the upside and then just all of a sudden just go to the moon. So I just want to first see commitment in the markets before I look at taking any setups, and I just want to stay patient. So here's the last pair, Euro US dollar. So you'll see this was the start of the week. We had this large impulse after NFP last week Friday, and after that impulse we had this ascending nature there, and immediately after the ascending nature we just started descending to the downside, and we just kept on breaking lows, retracing. We had this sort of impulse, this 2 large wicks, which is warning signs, and this can just reverse to the upside, or it could just have ranged, and exactly that happened. These 2 wicks formed after that impulse and this wick there, and thereafter the rest of the week EU is just ranging. It just breaks that large low in that area of liquidity, and then it just reverses to the upside. But something that did take place on EU, sorry, I said EJ just now, but we had this impulse, because it looked like price was struggling to go down. And after this impulse took place, I wanted to place my trade on this green candle. The only thing that was bothering me on this pair was this high got broken, and I just wanted to see a little bit more. If this was a continuation setup, 100% I would have taken that trade, but I stayed out of the markets just because I think this was like a 70% trade for me. I think I wanted to take it. I really wanted to take it, but this just bothered me a bit. Just breaking out of there, I was just scared. Immediately as it broke out of this large high, it retraced, and it looked like it just wanted to range. So that's why I rather didn't take this bomb setup over here. I wanted a continuation setup, and it would have fit my plan. But anyway, then we just ranged anyway and broke down, or this was the major high, but we were just ranging. And as soon as this major high over here got taken out, we retraced, and that was an area of liquidity above this high, and that just showed price shot down again. After price went down, you can see we broke this low and retraced again. So when the lows get broken and the highs get broken and it just retraces, that's warning signs, or not warning signs, but that means price is going to range. So price has been very range bound. Actually, there's not been major impulses. So I really expect price to hopefully start moving, getting some real momentum in the up direction, the bullish direction or the bearish direction within the next few weeks. If it doesn't happen, December, let's say it doesn't happen in November, December is a very slow month for me usually, especially on the past few years, and especially on my back testing. I do not take many trades in December, but then we'll kickstart January, because January is usually when the momentum starts kicking in. But hopefully we can get some momentum and, some nice and clean price action before the end of November, and hopefully make some more percentage before the year ends. But until then, we stay patient and we just wait for the correct trades. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Price Action Sundays, and I really appreciate it. As I've said earlier, remember to like and subscribe, and the next episode will be out next week Sunday, so make sure you subscribe to not miss it. And hopefully in the next coming week there is some positive price action that forms, so that we can at least take a few setups or take a few trades. I don't want to just jump into the markets for trades, but as I said, it's been the whole month of November has been super quiet so far. So let's see what forms. But if there's no setups, we do not want to just get involved in the market unnecessarily and risk percentage, because then you're going to have to pay for the lessons you learn. You can rather see what happens and get a free lesson out of the market just by sitting on your hands. So guys, until next week, thanks for watching.